Well, tsunami warnings do remain in place in the Pacific tonight as Hawaii reports no wave of consequence. For more on this 8.8 magnitude earthquake, I'm joined by Chris Elders, Emeritus Professor of Geology at Curtin University. Professor, good to have you with us this evening. Now, we have seen tsunami waves hit parts of Hawaii and Japan to some degree, among others. Do they still pose a threat to the coastal regions and countries that are on alert?
Well, that threat level has been downgraded, as your previous correspondent was saying. The size of the waves has turned out to be not as great as the worst predictions, but also as the wave travels further and further away from the epicenter of the earthquake, then it'll reduce in magnitude as well.
Yes. What can you tell us then about the nature of this particular quake and from what you've observed? 8.8 magnitude, but at a depth of under 20 meters off that peninsula in eastern Russia.
That's correct, yes. So the earthquake was relatively shallow, so at a depth of about 20 kilometers, but it was a magnitude 8.8 earthquake, which makes it one of the largest earthquakes that's being recorded. The bigger earthquakes of 9.2, for example, caused the Boxing Day tsunami in Sumatra in 2004. So this is getting close to that level. And these sorts of earthquakes occur in areas around the Pacific Ring of Fire, where the Pacific tectonic plate, the Pacific Ocean tectonic plate, is moving down underneath the eastern side of the Asian continent. And sometimes that can be a bit sticky. The plate sticks a bit, and then all of a sudden the stresses are let go in an enormous earthquake such as this. And when you have an earthquake of that sort, the sort of pushing together of the plates, it results in the seabed being lifted up. And the lifting up of the seabed displaces the water, and that's what causes the tsunami.
Yes, and have there been any serious or major aftershocks, and would we expect any more to happen given the size of this seismic activity?
Well, I think one measure of the size of the earthquake is the number of aftershocks that have occurred. There's been 76 so far, which is really a phenomenal number. And initially they were around about magnitude 6, went down to about magnitude 5. Some of the more recent ones have just been magnitude 4, so that they're getting less and less, but then again, the ones that have happened in the past hour or so have gone up again to about magnitude 5. So aftershocks are going to continue for a very long time, months certainly, and sometimes you can actually get quite a large aftershock that's broadly comparable to the size of the initial quake.
Chris, just a short time ago, French Polynesia was issuing alerts of possible 4-meter waves coming across. Now, this warning came much later than most other countries there. But how does an event like this bring about these sort of uncertainties from different countries depending on what systems they've got at place?
Yes, I think most countries would be using the similar system, so the set of buoys in the ocean that measure the size of the waves. The size of the wave isn't uniform all the way around, so it's moving out from the center, but it'd be bigger in other parts than others. I'm not quite sure why it should be specifically larger in that particular area, but maybe it's just the direction in which the wave is traveling.
What do you make of the speed at which these tsunami waves had made their way to Hawaii from thousands of kilometers away from the epicenter?
Well, indeed, and also reached as far as California. So the waves will travel around the whole of the ocean basin. And obviously the Pacific Ocean is a very big ocean basin. They were traveling at the sort of speeds we expect, as other people have said. They travel at about the speed of an aircraft. It took about 7 hours for the wave to get from the epicenter to Hawaii, and that's about how long it would take for an aircraft to fly that distance as well. So it behaved much as we would expect it.
Yes, earthquakes do occur quite regularly across the planet, but there was a 7.4 magnitude quake that did hit Russia about 10 days ago. Are these two linked at all?
There may be some relationship, depending just exactly where it is. There were, in fact, a very large number of precursor earthquakes, I think about 200 in the month preceding this one. So, yes, earthquakes happen all the time. What tends to happen is an earthquake occurs in one place, but that sort of frees up stress in one place, but it increases it somewhere else, and then that might make it more likely that a large earthquake will occur somewhere nearby.
Yes, and just finally, what are your observations in terms of, a lot of early warning systems that were put out in place, a lot of early warnings across from the Pacific to Japan, and we saw millions evacuating in pretty short space of time. So do you believe that, this heightened level of urgency will remain for some time, especially in countries like Japan after that massive earthquake in 2011?
Well, the warning systems are excellent, and particularly the ones that have been developed in Japan, which respond very, very quickly to events. So the warning systems will hopefully remain in this particular circumstance. I think the level of worry can begin to decrease a little bit.
Okay, Professor Chris Elders, really appreciate your expertise today. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.